What is up, everybody? Thank you guys for tuning in to the Draft Guys podcast with Peyton and Niko. We are back today, and it's a special day. The Super Bowl might have ended yesterday, but today is the first day of the NFL offseason, and I'm here with my co-host, P Dunn. P Dunn, how we doing?
I'm good, man. This is what you live for. Like you said it the other day, like the season might be over, but this is when the season really starts. And this is when we get to the fun stuff. We've got free agency coming up. We've got the draft coming up. Those are two of our favorite things of the year. We've got the combine somewhere in between there. Like there's a lot of really fun stops we've coming up, and this is the start of that. We talked about it with the Senior Bowl, and I'm really excited to get into this. This is our inaugural kickoff for draft season, and I could not be more excited. I'm so stoked.
I'm your host, Niko Chambers. Niko the Draft Guy, you can call me. And this is going to be a special one because this is going to be a joint mock draft today. We're just going to free ball it for you guys live on air right now. No planning on our ends at all. And we're just going to go through the whole thing. I think we have decided that Peyton will do the odds and I will do the evens. And yeah, I don't think we have much more to say. Episode 2, the inaugural joint mock draft for the first one of the season. So, Pete, you were on the clock. Las Vegas Raiders.
You
Tell
know,
me, who you think they're going to pick?
Unfortunately, we're probably not going to spend too much time here. This one seems like it's in the bag. We're taking Fernando Mendoza. He is a good quarterback prospect. There's a lot of mixed opinions on over him right now. Like, oh, is he a Burrow? Is he a Caleb? Like, is he a top tier number one quarterback? I don't think so, but I think he's a better quarterback prospect than Cam Ward. I have him higher rated. I have a higher rating of him in my ranking system right now, and I think that he had, I mean, just to get into the player just a little bit, he's got really good arm talent. He's really smart. He's got a good frame. This is a guy that has played a lot of football. And I think he's someone that you could see um, assimilate to the league faster than I think a lot of people expect him to. And so we're not going to spend too much time on it because it really does seem like this one. Sorry, Raiders fans, you're getting Fernando Mendoza. So we'll move on to two, but I do want to put that like I think he's a better quarterback prospect than a lot of people think. That's my main bullet point for number one.
Real quick, what does this mean for Geno Smith?
He gone, man. He's gone. I don't know
Are
where
they going to
he'll.
cut him,
I don't know if
release
he's
him,
gonna.
trade him?
I think they'll release him. I don't think. I'll tell you what. You could see a situation because Kubiak's system is just a little. It's complicated. I mean, you're a Seahawks fan. You saw that like earlier in the season, like. Darnold, there was some times where you're like, okay, Darnold, what are you doing, pal? Like it's a
Yeah,
complex system to run, and it takes some time. If Gino can get in there and give him 4 or 5, the way Brissett did with May last year on the Patriots, give him 4 or 5 weeks. Just let him sit for a little bit. You know what I mean? And then give him the reins towards the back half of the season. Maybe you keep him. He's a trade deadline candidate, a contender. Quarterback gets hurt, you trade Gino week 8. Like I don't know, but I would not. I think if I had to guess right now, I think he's getting cut.
yeah, I would have to say the same. I don't know what that's going to mean for this free agency pool, but we'll move to the Jets, obviously. And the New York Jets, we're going to take a look at their roster and just see really what they need. I feel like they need a lot, as
Yeah.
always. But I think this is a defensive pick. I hope it's a defensive pick. I think that they're really good on their tackles. I think obviously they have their receivers now in line. You have your running back. You still need your quarterback. Make that clear. But I'm looking at that middle of the defense, and I think this is a no-brainer pick. I think obviously, yes, you do need corners, but I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to take Arvo Reese. I don't have much else to say. I think he can slot into a middle linebacker role. I know he can play edge also, but I think that they have the edges in Jermaine Johnson, Will McDonald. I want Arvo Reese at number 2.
I like it. I think he's a really good prospect. I think you see a lot of the development, not only physically but mentally, understanding what he's doing. This is a guy that was not on the draft scene this year coming into the season because he didn't play a lot last year. And Ohio State knew that this was a guy that needed to take a step mentally in order to get on the field, and he did. And that's what you saw last year. I don't know if he's going to play Mike at the next level. I think your ideal role is for him is as good as Jalen Walker was last year, is kind of a supercharged Jalen Walker, a guy that can play linebacker, a third down NASCAR package kind of guy that you can't block on third down and is going to blow up your plays on first and second, right? And so he's so strong. His hands are so strong. He's built like an ox. He's a monster. He's a monster. I totally can see them getting their hands on him. If they have a, it's similar to what we talked about. Like if they have a plan with him, could be really good. Like Eman Ward, like we just talked about the Seahawks. Like Eman
There you
Ward,
go.
they had a plan with him. Crazy freak athlete, had a plan. One of the best players in the league. That could totally happen for Arvell Reese.
Simple. All right, Pete, you're on the clock with the Cardinals. We'll check out their roster before we get into them. And the real thing with the Cardinals, I don't know, Pete, you take a look at this team because I don't really know what exactly happened this year.
It's a it's kind of crazy looking at this defense and how good the names are on the defense. And you look at these players individually, like, man, that's a good player. Oh, that's another good player. That's another good player. Like they got some dudes on this defense, and they weren't that good. And so you look at the offensive side of the ball, like, oh, you arguably have the best tight end in the league. Like, oh, you have Marv. Like, I don't really know what's going on here. And I'll tell you what, I really do think that this is a sprint in offensive lineman pick. This feels like similar to Mendoza at one. I don't know where they're going to go offensive tackle individually. I know it's going to be one of those two guys on the list, right? Like Proctor, not going here. Lomu, not going here, right? Maui Noah and Spencer Fano, like those are guys that legit have top five upside. Now you get into Maui Noah, there's arm length concerns. Both of these guys played right tackle at college. I do want to put that out there. So these are two guys that could slide in guard. There's concerns at tackle with both of them. I think Fano like struggles with speed a little bit, handles both of these guys handle power really well. Maui Noah does not have the arm length to play at the next level. And, not to dock on Will Campbell too much, didn't have a great year this year, had a really bad game last night. I don't think there's a team that's going to be taking someone with arm length tackle concerns here. And I don't think they're drafting a guard here. I think this is Fano because I think he's the best offensive lineman available. He's the top guy on my board. He's the only one here that's worth taking that could play tackle for you. And you're getting a really good guard if he doesn't work out a tackle. And that's what the Cardinals need. This is the safest pick they can make right now, and I think that's what they're going to end up doing.
I love it for them. They definitely need it. Let's talk about a guy real quick. Paris Johnson Jr. from a few years ago. Pete, how do you think his career has fared so far?
It's been up and down. I would have a lot of confidence that he's going to get a pretty good second contract with this team. And I think this year, next year, he's going to continue to get his feet underneath of him. I think this is a guy that I have a lot of confidence in. I don't think they're going to be replacing him at left tackle anytime soon.
It'll be really interesting to see, and I'll move into a team that I'm really excited for this offseason. I talked about it in previous videos, but the Tennessee Titans, I really like. They got going with Cam Ward and obviously bringing in Robert Saleh. Very, very underrated
Yeah.
move on the coaching front. And we're looking at this team, and yeah, you see a little bit of a lack of weapons. An interesting running back room with the Tony Pollard regression that we saw. Obviously, you
Mhm.
have Spears there, and we love Aya Manor, but who's going to step up as that receiver? Because he didn't necessarily do that. DK had a great year, but this is not going to be an offensive pick in my book. You bring in Robert Saleh for a reason, and that means he's going to draft his player. And you saw what they did last year, where they brought in Robert Saleh back to the defensive coordinator role for that 49ers team. And who did they draft? Michael Williams. They're
Mhm.
going edge here. There's no question about it.
Ooh.
You could talk about fit, but that's my opinion. I think that this is definitely I could definitely see you can go linebacker here. If
That
Reese
is
was on
solid.
the board, I think you're running in with Reese. But Reese is not on the board in our mock draft. And to me, it's Ruben Bain, and I think he is. I think he's a top three player in this draft. And I don't think there's a question here. Getting an athlete like him at this spot at four, I would take my chances, and they just need edge. They got no pass rush whatsoever. So I'm going to sprint it in. Ruben Bain is going to be a Tennessee Titan.
Are you tempted at all to go receiver? Like, are you like Tate or Tyson? Like, just to get another guy and there's two different arguments to this, right? There's like, okay, get a weapon for your young quarterback to continue to develop him. But there's also the like there's no better weapon for a quarterback than a good defense, right? Like I don't
Yeah.
know the balance here. I don't know if they're gonna say like let's get Cam a weapon or like are they gonna invest in him or are they gonna invest in Salah? And I just don't know how they're going to balance that out. You know what I mean?
I think that I don't think you can get, the edge rush talent that you can from Bain, the same way you can maybe get some sleeper receivers later in the draft.
Yeah.
That's kind of my thought
Yeah, that's
process
true.
there for this Titans team.
Yeah, I like that.
All right, you're on the clock here. Pick number five, the New York Giants.
Well, we just hit on receiver, and this is a team that has seen a lot of receiver mocks, a lot of fans that are nervous for the ACL with Neighbors, and also know that the lack of talent around him is pretty glaring. Um, I don't think this is going to be I don't know. I don't think it's going to be an edge rusher. That edge rusher is loaded, right? I I don't personally see a corner being taken here, right? There's Mansour Lane's talk. There's some other guys that I think a lot of people like on their board. I don't think this is a spot for him. And then honestly, the safety room's good. Tyler Nubin's a guy that they invested a second round pick in and has played, it's been up and down. He had a better rookie year than he did last year. But I mean, dude's a good ball player. I think there's someone that you trust at that position. And then you just brought in Javon Holland from like last free, you paid up a bag last free agency cycle, right? And so yes, the Caleb Down arguments is interesting. I don't know if you're taking him here. And so I'm I'm struggling between Carnell Tate, who is the highest rated receiver on my board, or Francis Maui Noah to push inside to guard, and you get a really high level guard in front of Jackson Dart. Um, I'm struggling with this one. I think this is a win-win. I think Tate's really good. We'll get into him a little bit in the big board episode, but he's one of my favorite players in the draft. What is one of my favorite watches. I think he's a really good prospect. Um, but I'm going to invest in the trenches here. I'm going to go Maui Noah. I'm going to get somebody to protect.
Wow.
Um, I haven't seen this one a lot, but I think this is something that it's a fit. This is a guy that, um, you know, would fit really well at guard. I think he fits the identity that Harbaugh is going to try and instill. What more of a statement could you make coming into a new building and saying, no, we're going to invest in the trenches? And I think this is a direction that I think is a lot more realistic. I think a lot more people need to be talking about offensive line at five for them. I like this pick. I like it a lot.
That is a statement. All right. Wow. I haven't seen that in many mocks. But that's going to make this pick for me really easy. Pick number six for the Browns. If you're going to pass up on the receiver, I'm going to take him. I'm going to go ahead and take Carnell Tate here with the number six pick, and I'm going to tell you why. You look at this Browns team, and you think about this Browns team, and they had a really good draft, really high on them. We talk about it in a bunch of episodes and what they truly did. But man, was this wide receiver room underwhelming. Jerry Jeudy did nothing this year. He had an awful year. Cedric Tillman did nothing, and Isaiah Bond in the slot as the undrafted guy. They need weapons. They need to help Shadur. They need to help Gabriel. They need to help Deshaun. Whoever's the quarterback, it doesn't matter. And you got the depth already on that defense with the Schlesinger pick, the Mason Graham pick, obviously Myles Garrett. There's no question here. They are in desperate need of a wide receiver. And I don't even know. I'll actually just check this out real quick and see who is really up for their contracts this year in terms of free agency. And
A lot of guards, man. That whole
yeah, a lot
offensive
of a
line.
lot of that interior. But we'll trust that there will be some of that sleeper talent that we could find in a different round. You can't find the talent of Carnell Tate. So I'm going to run in the pick. It's going to be Carnell Tate, the wide receiver from Ohio State at number six.
Yeah, it's just a tough draw for the Browns, man. Like it's when if those two tackles are off the board, or whether you view them as guards or tackles, when those two linemen are off the board, like it's a full pivot for them. I would be shocked if either one of them are available and they're not going to draft them. I think that they are fully locked in on offensive line until they're not there. And I think the Tate pick is good. I mean, whether or not you stick with Shador, whether or not you get a new quarterback next year, you have a wide receiver one waiting for him. And I think that's really good. So getting into the Commanders here, this feels defense. It has to feel defense. The defense was atrocious last year. You have problems at all three levels of the field. Corner is bad, linebacker is bad and old, and you have problems getting after the quarterback, you have problems stopping the run. This was a bad defense last year. And so what do you prioritize here? I have Caleb Downs as one of the best players in the draft. He's a consensus one of the best players in the draft. He's one of the best safeties college football's seen in the last 20 years. Caleb Downs is a monster, and he makes your defense so much better. But that key word there I said, that's a safety. Caleb Downs is the least valuable position on defense in terms of draft capital. And so, are you going to take a safety, a generational safety, but a safety at number 7? I don't know. I don't know if you're going to make that decision, right? David Bailey's sitting on the board. That's the number, that's, one of the best edge rushers in the class. He single-handedly solves your pass rush problem. He is so fast. He is so twitchy. He has the best jump out of anybody in the class, and he's got really good bend. This is a guy I like. Throw you another curveball. Throw you one last time. Throw you one again. I'm going Sonny Styles here.
Love it. Love this pick.
I think he might, outside of Caleb Banks, he might be the most underrated player in the draft. And I cannot wait to show you where I have him on my big board when we do that episode. He is so good. He is such a good football player. And he can do the things since he's in the box that Caleb can't do physically. He cannot be in the run every play. He cannot be in the pass most plays the way Caleb can. But mentally, he's doing everything Caleb Downs is doing. He's so smart. He fills every gap. He knows what the defense is doing before they do it. So you get the upside of Downs with the linebacker play. Yes, I know you can get David Bailey. I know he's a monster, but I trust that you can get a third down DP or pass rusher in the second round. I'm going Sonny Styles. I love this pick. I think this would be awesome if they could do this.
Sonny Styles will be a Washington Commander at pick number 7. That'll take us in the Saints. And the Saints, man, the Saints are an interesting team. They ended the season kind of hot, kind of on a high note, but
Yeah.
this roster is not very good. This defense is just a lot of different things going on between young guys. There's really a lot of old guys and a lot of, you know, leadership that needs to step it up, or just young guys who need to take that second leap, hopefully like the Seahawks. I look at the offense, and obviously wide receiver is sticking out right here. But I trust that the Saints can get some reach in the wide receiver market.
Mhm.
Hopefully in this free agency. I'll look really quick at this team and what they got or what they're losing in free agency. And yeah, I mean, this is some of their older guys. You're looking at Demario Davis, Cam Jordan, who are up for, I don't even know what contract. That's probably their fourth contract. But I don't really know really what they could really look for. I'm looking at obviously the edges that they got. You look at, I don't know, like you kind of need an edge rusher. I mean, Chase Young has been a good addition for them. This could
Mhm.
be a good move for a corner.
Yeah.
I Peyton, what do you think the chances they go offense are though?
I don't know. I don't think it would be offensive line, especially because the main two are off the board. And where we're at in this cycle now, there's not a premium third guy that's risen up this far. So you look at playmaker, it's either Jeremiah Love or it's a receiver, and someone that would pair well with Olave. Do you take a risk on Tyson? Do you trust that these injuries are flukes and he's actually going to be all right in the league? Or do you take what I think is the best running back prospect we've seen since Bijan? If you're going to go offense, I think it's one of those two.
Yeah, it's difficult. Obviously, we don't know what's going to happen with Kamara.
Mhm.
Do they trust? I mean, they've been drafting running backs every year, so I don't think they're going to go running back here, and I don't think they're going to go offensive line. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm going to take what I think is the best player available. I think I'm gonna take David Bailey here. It's a little bit, they haven't really taken, an attractive edge rusher like this in a very long time. And I think
Mhm.
he's gonna fit well with what they got going on down there in New Orleans. I'll put that pick in, and P Dunn, now pick 9, this team, the defending Super Bowl champs. We talk about it, not anymore, obviously, but the Kansas City Chiefs. P Dunn, what are you thinking?
This is it. I don't want to act like I'm going to take anyone other than Jeremiah Love here. This is a sprint in. if you can get someone to balance out that running game, someone that can be so good in the passing game as well. He is such a good running back prospect. He is so sound. He is so electric. Um, Him in this offense would be absolute fireworks. It would be incredible. There's no other option if he's there. You have to take him
Is
if
there
you're the
anybody else to consider in terms of a need?
Banks. Banks would be awesome on that interior. We talked about him with Chris Jones, Omar Norman Lott. I mean, that's just a monster of a three-headed pass rush between those three. I think he's outside of Downs, he would be the best player available besides Jeremiah Love. But I mean, you cannot pass on Love if he's here. You just can't.
We're gonna sprint that pick in. And it comes to the Cincinnati Bengals, who, man, that's a flawed organization as it is. But Cincinnati, they need a lot
Yeah.
to really return back to the Super Bowl like they did, which seems like eternity ago. Um, I'm looking at this team, and obviously, I'm thinking it's got to be offensive line, but I don't hate their tackles as much. It's mainly an interior issue. Obviously, their defense was atrocious, even more atrocious than the year before.
Yeah.
So you could definitely argue for defense here. We're going to take a look real quick at what they are losing in this free agency period and what they could really be signing. And yeah, I mean, these are a lot of, star players for them, if you will.
It's a lot of
I'm gonna,
defense.
yeah, a lot of defense, and man, I think I'm gonna go corner. I think I'm gonna go
Okay.
corner. I'm gonna go corner
Okay.
first, corner out of LSU. I just think he's the best player on the board. And for the cornerbacks, obviously Caleb Downs is definitely attractive,
Yeah.
but I'm gonna pick him right here. I'm gonna pick him right here.
I like it. I
I
like it
like
a
the
lot.
pick a lot.
Um, it's gonna be interesting to see if they take a upside player like Delane or they do something safe like Caleb Downs. Just get somebody good in this defense. Like someone that we know is gonna be a good football player. If Sonny Styles falls, like just get
Ooh,
Sonny Styles in here.
Sonny
Like
Styles is awesome.
he's just good at football. Like I don't know. It's gonna be interesting to see how they handle that. But moving on to the Dolphins here, this is another team for a while with the Falcons, felt like there's a 3-year period there where like, okay, they're gonna take an edge rusher this year, right? Like next year, they didn't take an edge rusher. Okay, they're gonna take an edge rusher this year. That didn't happen. This is what I feel like with the Dolphins with corner. This has been a need for this team for a while. Even when Ramsey was there, they needed someone opposite of him, and they have not invested in that position. Um, I'm gonna go corner here. I'm gonna go Jermod McCoy. He's my top corner in this draft. I think he's really, really good. The tape is incredible. You worry about the ACL, you worry about the recovery. If his medical's clear, he's a top 8 player in this draft. I think he's the best corner in this draft. He is the best man player. He's a really good run defender. Um, his reps against the Ohio State receivers in the playoffs in 2024 were incredible. Against Tate, against Jeremiah Smith, like against Ibuka. Like there's so much that he does so well. And I think he's really good. So I'm gonna go Jamal McCoy to a team that really needs corner at 11 here.
They need it desperately, and as you see, as we're going through it, Caleb Downs is starting to slide. Are you shocked by that?
He's a safety man. Kyle Hamilton, everyone knew he was gonna walk in the league and be a top 5 safety, and he went to the Ravens in the middle of the first round, right? Like this just happens. Like this just happens, and like these organizations know, like everyone knows Caleb Downs is gonna be a top 4 or 5 safety in the league immediately, and they're still not gonna invest in that. I don't think that high.
It's crazy. It really is. And, we could look at the guys here, looking at the guys on the board for this Dallas Cowboys team. But for me, the slide's going to end right now. The Cowboys are going to select Caleb
Oh
Downs.
yeah,
This is going
I'm
to be a
on.
hot take right here. I just look at their safety room, and I think that these guys that they have, Donovan Wilson's been there a good while. Malik Hooker, I feel like they keep, repurposing the safety room, and we
Yeah.
know what they like to do with their safeties, kind of playing them as linebackers in a way. But maybe you can get that with Caleb Downs, and he's the best player available. You're taking that BPI right away. Obviously, you could also maybe put him at nickel, and kind of move him around in a way. But I definitely don't think it's a defensive line issue. I don't think it's a receivers. I don't think it's a skill position in this way. I think Cowboys have honestly a pretty good roster. They don't really necessarily have the success every year. But hot take, Caleb Downs, number 12 to the Cowboys, and that's going to bring an interesting pick because it's the Rams who, of course, had the Atlanta pick from the James Pierce trade, which ended up backfiring. I don't know. I mean, we've seen him getting
Yeah.
assault battery charges or something recently. I don't know what's going on there. But Peyton, you're on the clock. Pick number 13 for this Rams team.
Well, this is another team that needs corner. I am very comfortable taking Avion Terrell out of Clemson here. He's a guy that I have as the second best corner, not to spoil our cornerback rankings, but I've got him at two for right now. I think he's really good. Another incredible man corner. Um, but I'm going to take Ty Simpson here.
Oh wow,
This team is in the situation they're in
wow,
because there is really elite quarterback play. And when you have a guy like Ty that I think has shown so much in 1 year with never playing football before, the arm talent is good, really good. The processing is really good. Um, and it's his first year playing high level football. And I am trusting not only in him to continue to develop, but if anybody's going to develop him, it's going to be McVay. And to give
wow.
him a year to sit behind Stafford
Whew.
and sit in a McVay offense, when Stafford retires next year, you've got Ty Simpson waiting to in the fold. This is a lottery pick. You don't deserve this pick. What better way to spend this pick than to get your next quarterback for this in 15 years? Like, I can't think of a better reason to do it.
I agree with the reasoning, but wow, what a surprise. I was blanking on his name for a second. I was like, wait, Ty Simpson, Ty Simpson. I was like, whoa, I should have had a bigger reaction because that is a huge one.
Yeah.
Not that's I like it. I like rolling with it. I think for me, with being the evens, he was gonna go at 16 to the Jets, no doubt about it. But
Yeah.
man, the Jets may be screwed now. We'll move on to the Ravens, who the Ravens are a funny team because they always draft so well. We can always count on that. But what do they need more than anything? That's a good question. And with this new regime now, with Jesse Minter coming in, is it going to be defense? They have all these stars on defense, though.
Yeah.
Um, do you try to solidify an edge spot? You see Van Noy getting older. You tried the Draymond Jones experience. You don't really have a stock defensive end who can be there. You have good, guys in that secondary. Do you try to update the line, receiver room? I think right now, I think it's the receiver room. And I'll just check real quick to see what this Ravens team is really going to lose during this free agency period. And I mean, yeah, there's some guys here. There's definitely a lot of defensive line guys, which makes it tempting because I think this could be a spot for Banks when we're looking at really that nose tackle position for this Ravens team, if you want to put him there alongside Matabikwe. But I think
Mm.
that it's going to be Jordan Tyson. I think Jordan Tyson's a really good pick here. They've never, ever, ever, they never picked the receivers in this first round. They finally break the streak this year. Jordan Tyson, you're going to be a Raven, and you're going to go at number 14 overall in the draft.
I like it. It's interesting to see a guy like that fall. He could go five to the Giants, and he could go late first round. Like I have no idea what his medicals are going to look like. I don't know how that's going to work out. But moving on to the Bucks here, this is a fun one because I think this is a team that um, really needs pass rush. I think this is a team that has some holes on defense. Um, I don't. Hmm. Hmm.
This is tough. The Bucks, they
This
just
is
have a lot
tough.
of like
This is
good
a
players
tough team.
already.
This is a tough team.
They are losing a lot though in this free agency. I mean, look at this first five players for them. And then obviously you got some, some guys who are pretty good string along starters or bridge guys.
Yeah, this team's
Uh,
gonna look a lot different next year. Like this is really interesting. So here's what I'm thinking. First thing that comes to mind is Denzel Boston, the receiver from Washington. I like him a lot. He's going to be real high on my board when this comes out. I think he's a really good Mike Evans replacement in the sense that he plays that outside X receiver role. I would be shocked if they let Mike Evans go. I think he'll be back next year, but he's getting older, right? And so to invest in him and Ibuka, having that receiver room solidified, I like that a lot. But I also like TJ Parker a lot. I like the kid a lot. He had a really great 2024, not as great of a year in 2025, balled out of the Senior Bowl. Big riser for me right now. Great athlete. They need edge rusher. They need linebacker. I'm not comfortable taking any linebackers here, especially not over TJ Parker. Give me TJ Parker. Give me the edge rusher. You solidify that room. You get some more pass rush. I like to pick a lot.
PJ Parker, we have Buck. I like that. All right, now going back to the Jets, and just a reminder from earlier on in the draft, they selected Arvell Reese, linebacker out of Ohio State with that number two overall pick. So what do they do now? Well, Jets fans, I have the solution for you as we look at your team here. And do we go defense again? That's the
Oh
question. That's
man,
the question.
you have the ability to do something wild right now. You have the power in your hands with the Jets to take Caleb Banks and Arvell Reese.
They do.
And you have
And
you have
they
power.
really need defensive tackle. That's the funny thing.
Oh my gosh, man. It's
That's the funny thing. We'll go look at
oh
those interior defensive linemen. You got Peter Woods there. Um, man. What am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? I think I'm gonna go Peter Woods. I feel like Peter Woods.
okay.
Similar thing to what you said with TJ Parker. Better 2024 than 2025, but at the same time. I think he's going to slide a little bit in this draft, but he's still, a top 20 player. And I think that you get him right here as the Jets. I think he fits a little bit better into the mold for this Jets team, what they're trying to do in the line, than
Do you
Caleb
like
Banks
him more than
does.
Banks?
I do not,
Oh, you
but
like Banks more.
I do like Banks more than
Okay.
Woods. But
I
I'm
don't
just for mock draft
I'm
purposes.
following you. I'm following
Yeah,
you. I think he fits that team better.
I agree. And I feel
Okay.
like Caleb Banks is going to be, a star somewhere else. And probably look back at it. The Jets will look back and they'll be like, man, we missed that, as it usually goes for those Jets fans. But they've been drafting well recently, so you can't even
Yeah,
hate
they
Peter
really
Woods.
have.
Maybe he's the guy. Maybe he's the
Yeah.
one of those replacement guys. This is obviously not their pick. This is the Indianapolis pick from the Sauce Gardner trade. But I like the pick for them, and it kind of really fits with their mold of what they're doing. So yeah, let's put the
Did you
pick
think
in Peter
receiver at
Woods.
all? Think
No,
receiver to you at all? No?
I
Okay.
don't think so. I think that, when you trade for those two receivers, with AD Mitchell and Mechie, you got to trust them and you have Garrett Wilson. So
Okay. I'm there. I'm following.
Lions on the clock, Peyton. We'll look at their depth chart in a way. And number 17, they missed the playoffs. That was a shock to a lot of people. But P Dunn, how can they recoup their team?
Yeah, it's interesting. This feels kind of like a Buck scenario with a team that's like pretty good and the roster's pretty solidified. The guys just need to play better. And so I think it's really interesting. Um, I like defensive tackle here. You know, you invested in Tyleik Williams last year, didn't have a great season. Good as a
Awful first round pick. Awful.
yeah, you weren't high on that. We're gonna right our wrongs here. Caleb Banks is gonna stop the fall. I think he's too
Wow.
good of a player. He's too elite of a pass rusher. The fact that you could have him playing next to Aiden Hutchinson is terrifying. Terrell's there though. I like Terrell a lot.
Yeah, they do need
No,
some help.
they do need corner.
They
They
got
need
good
corner.
names at corner too. That's the thing, is
Yeah,
they just haven't
Terry
played
Arnold has
well.
not played well. Rake Straw was a guy that they took, expected to develop. Nah, give me Caleb Banks. He's too good of a player. The fall
Caleb
has to stop
Banks.
at some point. He could have played.
Yeah, you can't let him fall much farther. No offensive line here.
I don't think so. I don't think there's one worth taking. You could look at Oone, the Penn State guard. I think he's pretty good, but Proctor could slide inside. I'm actually pretty high on Proctor. I like him a lot, but I don't like them more than Banks. Like this player has to go. He has to go. He's too good. I cannot believe he shouldn't be here at 17. He's fantastic.
Yeah, and I think he's going to rise after his combine, hopefully in his pro day. But yeah, Caleb Banks, you are going to Detroit, my fella. All right, now we're going to this Minnesota team at pick number 18. This is the last team that didn't make the playoffs, which is crazy to say because they kind of came around at the end of the year, even though they started
Yeah.
off very, very, very poorly and had no quarterback play.
Mhm.
But that obviously, before we look into this, that's the question is, do you got to stick around with JJ? Do you bring in a veteran? Like, what's the deal?
You have to ride it out. You invested in him so much. Not only did you trade up for him, but the lack of investment in Sam Darnold is the investment in JJ McCarthy. Those go together. And so you have to let him you have to let him continue to hold the reins, trust that O'Connell's a good enough coach, which I think he is, to um, continue his growth. I will say, don't be shocked if Daniel Jones is a Minnesota Viking next year, though. That would not shock me if he
I
ends up back for Connell.
What would that mean for Anthony Richardson? We talk about this all the time. Crazy, crazy, crazy. I guess he's still on the board
Crazy,
too.
man.
Um, this is a tough pick, and this is, I think, a team that I could definitely see trading back. Um, where do we go here? We'll look at their corners one more time.
Yeah, they need corner.
I think they need corner, and I think that that's where they go here. And I think that you're looking at Avion Terrell, and I think you put in that pick here. I think he's just an athletic freak, and I think that is kind of a pick here that you really need, and he
Yeah.
just fits because I think he's one of the better guys really available on the board. If we're talking in that sense, so yeah, put it in. Terrell will be a Viking. Pete on
Like,
to the playoff teams. The Carolina Panthers hold the 19th pick in this draft, and let's see what they got on their depth chart.
yeah, this is an interesting team. Like, I actually like a lot of the pieces they have here. I like, obviously, the T-Mac pick was great. Leggett, interesting. It was the back of the first round pick. It was not a top 10 pick. It was not a super high risk pick. But I also like a lot of what they're doing on defense. I think they've got some good players. This is a roster that played well last year, and I like the way they played. They have a lot of money cooped up in the interior of that offensive line, but they haven't gotten super great play out of it. So I'm tempted to go guard here. I don't think I'm going to end up going guard here, and that's going to take my position or my eyes at least to defense. Looking at that defensive line, there's some guys that I like, but there's some players that I think could be upgrades. And I think with a guy like Kedrick Falk out of the board coming out of Auburn is someone that I liked a lot more than I thought I would. These are players that I'm not usually drawn to the players that like the Michael Williams and the Kedrick Fox of just guys that like just aren't super high pass rushers yet, and you kind of expect them to take that next step. But I love how dominant he is as a pass rusher, and the flashes are just too good for me to not pay attention to. This is a player that I've enjoyed watching. He has, for someone that's strength is stopping the run, he was very fun to do a film breakdown of and very fun to watch on a play-by-play basis. So I'm going to take Falk here. I think they need to invest in that room. Actually, I'm totally pivoting. Give me CJ Allen, the Georgia linebacker. Total
Oh,
pivot.
okay.
They need linebacker.
Wow.
I think, he's the second best linebacker in this class, or true linebacker behind Styles. I think Arvell Reese you could put in there. CJ Allen, dog, really good player. Would be getting more hype right now if he was not behind Sonny Styles. Really good player, really good in run defense, really good in pass. Give me CJ Allen to invest into that defense. Holy pivot. That was last second.
Yeah, I was ready to click the button, but no, he had other plans. Yeah, I mean they do need linebackers. So yeah,
Yeah.
that would after losing Luvu a few years ago and really not ever replacing that hole. I
Yeah,
like that a lot.
I like that
That'll
a
take us
lot.
back really to this Cowboys team who we saw once. This is the Micah pick from the Micah Parsons trade. Um, let's see. Let's really see what this Cowboys team needs. We already looked at it, but yeah, they passed up. What did they do last time? What did we have them do last time? They took Caleb Downs. Okay, so do they go defense again? Do they go back to the defense? Or do they go offensive line? That's a good question. I don't know. But we're gonna figure it out right now. Who are they losing? That's a good question. This Dallas Cowboys team, this off season, yeah, they're gonna lose some names, for sure. They're gonna have to sign some guys, and I don't really know how much cap they have to do so. Um, so honestly, I think I'm gonna go edge here. And I think I'm going to go Cassius Howell. I like how he
Okay.
fits. I like after losing DeMarcus Lawrence,
Interesting.
what real pass rush have you had? Jadeveon Clowney is not really cutting it
Do you
for this
think it all
team.
about Do you think it all about receiver? Like even if I don't think Pickens is going to be on this team for the next 5 years, I don't think he's a long-term investment. And he's an outside guy. Lamb plays in the slot, but he's also an outside guy. Adding Lemon into this room is interesting. Like I like the idea of putting Lemon in the slot as another option for Prescott. Um, I don't know. Would you think about receiver at all, or are you
I
pretty
think
focused on defense here?
after the trade that they made for Mingo a few years ago, that was just kind of really random. They must believe in him. I think they
Okay.
also believe in Turpin
Yeah.
a good amount. So I wouldn't go here. I don't think it's a pressing need now. Second round, third round, maybe. But I don't think right here. I think you can't really pass up. I really like Izaraku, obviously, the edge from last year. But I think if you can, kind of get out of this age of old guys, the Clownies, the Fowlers of the world, James Houston, like start moving into younger guys and play around with it. But I think it's Cash Sowell. I really like that, and I think I'm going to go with that. So yeah, Pete on the clock here, 21 to Pittsburgh.
This is interesting. This is a team that, obviously invested in the receiver room, whether it worked out or not with DK. And I think they're not going to bail on him after one season. I think that this is a team that's going to need some sort of continuance of their identity. I don't think they're looking to change who they are just because they have a new regime. Um, I like their offensive line a lot, actually. I really like their offensive line. They're really young. They're not all playing great right now, but I think they will be. Um, this is interesting. How do you draft for the Steelers? Hmm.
You look at some of their free agents this year. Yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting with the new regime coming in. Mike McCarthy, you got to keep that tie in mind with if Rodgers is coming back. I would assume so.
I
Yeah,
I want to go Lemon here, but they got Roman Wilson, and I think that's a guy that they want to continue to develop. No, I'm gonna go Roman Wilson. He plays in the slot. He's not gonna mess with DK. You can still have a high upside DK Metcalf move, ascension, get back on his feet year this year. I think you provide a better entrance point for whatever quarterback you draft in next year's class. I like this. I like Lemon. Let's take Lemon here.
I like it.
Get a slot receiver, somebody that makes your offense better.
You definitely need it. They had really no weapons this year. They're throwing to running backs more than the wide receivers. I like that pick a lot, and it'll bring the Chargers. And I think it's pretty clear what this Chargers team needs after seeing the injuries to that offensive line. They got great tackles. There's no doubt about it. Mekhi Becton, not the greatest signing, not what they thought they would get from him. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I think that obviously you got young talent. You got to really kind of sleeper underrated draft them than offensive. And do you need defense here? Do you go safety? Um, it's definitely going to be difficult to think about. I think I'm going to go. Oh, who's their tight end? Who's their tight end?
Oh, they got that young kid. What's his face?
Aronde Gadsden.
Yeah.
I'm gonna shock the world. I'm gonna pick Sadiq here. I
Whoa.
think that yeah, you just keep giving him weapons and you hope that Justin Herbert can do something with him. And I'm gonna go Sadiq. I'm gonna go out on a limb. Crazy pick.
Wow.
Yeah,
Interesting.
stole your
Okay.
pick.
You
Probably stole
stole
your
my
pick.
pick, my
That's
friend.
right.
Wow. Okay. Um, all right, well, let's pivot here. So, let's see. This team, we talked about them last episode. This team is in a state of flux right now. They're old, they're aging everywhere. Tackles aging, running back aging, receivers not meshing well with the quarterback, and the quarterback's not playing well, which is crazy hearing the tone of what I just said compared to where we were in the preseason. This team needs a lot on offense, and we're gonna give it to them. Give me Caden Proctor, the offensive tackle from Alabama. Now, this is a guy that has heavy feet because he's heavy. He's a big boy, but I think I really like his ability in the run. I really like his ability when you get hands on. This is someone that can sit because I don't think either of these tackles are retiring right now. Learn and the best offensive line farm in the league and sit and develop and get ready to take over. Um, Once either one of these tackles are ready to call it a day. I like this
That's
pick.
that's the Philadelphia Eagles at pick 23, picking Caden Proctor out of Alabama in their already ensemble of offensive linemen. That'll take us here to this pick for the Browns, which of course was Jacksonville's pick from the Travis Hunter Mason Graham trade, technically. Um, Pretty good haul for this Browns team as they get another pick. We saw
Oh
them
yeah.
earlier, and they picked Carnell Tate, the wide receiver out of Ohio State, at number 6. So who do they go here? The Cleveland Browns. Well, as we said, defense was pretty good this year. Really like what they did, so I don't think I'm going to go defense here. And would it be crazy, Pete Dunn, to go double receivers in the first round? Double
Yeah, that would be
receivers.
crazy.
That
It
would be
would be
shocking, but
crazy.
hey, that's what a joint mock draft is, right? So we're gonna go Denzel Boston out of Washington, the wide receiver. Um, Different type of speed that he can match well with Carnell Tate. Yeah, he's gonna be the deep threat for this team, and I don't know what they're gonna do with the Jerry Jeudy contract, but it don't matter because you got two first round receivers, bold as it is, the Cleveland Browns, and they draft this way anyway, so this should be no shock.
Yeah, they do. They have a weird tendency to double up. That's just what they do. And if they do it again in the same round with the same position, that'd be pretty interesting. So, got a fun pick here. Let's see what we got here. This is a team that was not as dominant on defense as I think that the Bears want to be this year. It was a good defense. I don't think it was a bad defense, but I think that there's some holes that they would like to get fixed. Every safety, every safety that got a lot of playing time is up for free agency this year. And I think you look at that, and there's actually this is a pretty good safety class, especially at the back half of this round. There's about four guys that are really pushing for this back of round one placement right now. I'm not going to take a safety here. I'm going to continue to invest in this offensive line, and I'm going to go Akeem Mesidor, the Miami kid. I think he's someone that is ready to play in the NFL. He's good at rushing the passer. He's good. He's got good hands. He's ready to take that step, I think, and I think you're going to pair him um, well with the pieces that are on that defensive line right now. And you got yourself a third down pass rusher that is ready to contribute immediately.
I like this pick a lot. Really good pick for the Bears here. Going at number 25. That'll move on to the Buffalo Bills, who the Bills. What do you need? What do you need? Well, you need a receiver.
Yeah.
Now, are there receivers on the board who can, aid this process for you? That's the question. Let's see. What do we got here? Yeah, Conception there, Chris Bell, Omar Cooper. I'm not liking what I'm seeing right now for this team based on the value that's already on the board. They kind of do need edge. They kind of do need linebacker. So I'm going to continue the trend of that. And I'm just going to go Keldrick Falk out of Auburn. I think it's just a
Okay.
safe pick. Get it over with.
Yeah.
not going to be this crazy thing for them where, oh, you're not going to be extremely happy, but you're just going to get a stud football player. And I think they
Yeah.
should be happy with it. I mean, I feel like, they have him ranked 16 here, getting him at 26. I think that's kind of a value, but obviously this is already a deep edge class, but I think it's a no-brainer pick. So we're going to go Keldrick Folk, Auburn, pick number 26 to the Bills.
I like it a lot. If Casey Concepcion wasn't going to the Bills at 26, he's going to the Niners at 27. This feels like an awesome Debo replacement. He's amazing after the catch. He leans more receiver than Debo did running back, but he's a yak guy. He's you just get him the ball. Just get him to make plays. That's an offense that has not filled that position at receiver yet, even though they've tried to. And this is a guy that can absolutely fill that void for them.
We're going to put that in right here. Texans now on the clock. And what do the Texans need? Well, it says running back here. I don't think they really need a running back, but you never know. We'll see here with this Houston team,
It's got to be
which
the
we're
line.
hoping. Yeah, I mean, we're hoping that they can help CJ Stroud out here.
Yeah.
Um, man, where do I go here? Where do I go? Where do I go? I like their defense all year long. They had a top three defense.
Yeah,
So
their
yeah,
defense is
it's
pretty
not.
good.
Yeah, they're pretty good. The question is, Peter, do you go tackle or interior?
You got to go interior.
Yeah,
I think with Iwane sitting there, he's the best guard in the class, true guard in the class. He fell for a position of need. Yeah, I mean he's the best player available for this team, I think.
yeah, we're just going to select him here. No question about it. Going to the Rams, P. Dunn. Back to the Rams, obviously. What do? They pick Ty Simpson, the shocking pick there
We
at
did.
number, what was that, 13. So
Yep.
now they're on the clock at 29. And what do you do as the Rams as we look at their depth chart as after they lost in the NFC Championship?
Yeah, this has got to be corner for me. It's a similar to the Dolphins thing where it's feel like they've needed corner for a while. Funny enough, since Ramsey left, they've always needed
Yep.
corner. Same thing. This is going to be corner for me, and I think it's kind of a luxury pick because this isn't exactly someone that I think actually a lot of people like him in this range. I don't personally love him in this range. I see him more of as an early second rounder. But I'm going to take Brandon Cisse, the corner out of South Carolina here. He's raw. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean that he's just such a good athlete and he needs to be fined in. He is great in man when he's because of the athlete he is, not because he's super instinctive, not because he's super smart, but because of the athlete he is. And I trust that the Rams are going to be able to get him in there and develop him.
Yeah, really good pick for this Rams team. That'll move us into the Denver Broncos, who will look at their depth chart and what they really need. And this Broncos team, they had a really good season, and surprisingly, that offense was super explosive. Despite, you know, I don't think they have the greatest receiver room in the world, and I don't think they're lighting it on fire in the run game. But the defense, like we say, defense wins championships. I mean, top five defense in the league. Yeah, you're gonna win games that way. Yeah, it's definitely tempting to go receiver. I know that they've gone receiver in the last three drafts. Is it tempting to go running back though? I don't know. That's a good question.
There.
I'm not gonna I don't think I'm gonna do that right now. You can always help. I don't know, man. Do I
It's
go
tough.
crazy pick? Do I go crazy? I don't know.
I'll throw you one.
What you got?
I would take Chris Bell, the
Yeah,
receiver out of Louisville,
I love
who
that.
tore his ACL last year at the end of the season, but played really well. Amazing athlete, a guy that they're not going to need to come in and contribute immediately, but will be able to contribute on the road. Really good route runner, really good athlete. I like Bell there.
Yeah, let's put that pick in. And then Pete Dunn, Patriots here, the last two picks of this draft. Pete
Yep.
Dunn, anything for the Patriots that they really, really, really need.
No, I think you need to continue to just invest in that line. Obviously, the way that last night did, this is something that this team needs to continue to develop. Low move for me is more of a strictly tackle, and that might sound weird because they have a tackle in Will Campbell. I think Will Campbell can shift into guard, and I think you take Lomu as your left tackle next year. That's where he played at Utah. That's the reason that Spencer Fano is a right tackle, and Lomu was really good at Utah. And so I'm going to take him here. They need some more pass rush. Not anybody here that I think is super great here. I would rather have somebody that I think can be a starting tackle in Caleb Lomu.
I love it. Real quick here, the Seattle Seahawks are now on the clock. That means it is my pick. I'm going to go straight to the linebackers. I'm going to go Anthony Hill Jr.
Oh
I think this
yeah,
is going to round it out really well.
love
They
it.
need that second linebacker. They tried to fill it with Tyrese Knight. Obviously, Ernest Jones is a star, but why not learn behind him? Anthony Hill, you're a Seattle Seahawk. And that'll conclude it for us with our mock as you see it on the screen. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. And please, please, please stay tuned for more updates as we look on closer throughout this NFL draft process. Thank you guys so much for tuning in.